Hello, beautiful mamas. How are you? Today, we're going to talk about how to use herbs in homeopathy with your children. So when you get here, let me know if you're using herbs with your children or homeopathy. Just type that into the comment area and let me know. I just wanted to tell you how this all began. I'm Tara Gregorio, woman's herbal educator and community herbalist for the past 10 years. And in 2009, I was getting ready for a wedding of 300 guests and got really sick. I was at my lowest weight. I had rashes on my skin. I was sick. I was very, very sick. And at the same time, people were telling me, oh, you look amazing. I was 122 pounds at the time. So what happened was all the stress from the wedding plus antibiotics ruined my gut. And then it's very similar to C. diff, where I couldn't keep any food in my body. There was nothing diagnosed, but because there was no diagnosis, I turned to an Ayurvedic doctor. And then I realized that, okay, herbs can help me. So it's been a 10 plus year journey. Hi, Misty. It's been many, many years of learning about herbs. And then in 2013, when I had my twins, Mario and Eva, I went through 24 months of postpartum depression. So again, I turned to herbs to help me. So that is something that I do want to talk about in the future, because many mothers suffer from anxiety, depression, insomnia, especially when your sleep is broken. So we can touch on that in this group as well, but just keep in mind that the herbs will benefit you as well. Okay, so this may be a longer video. I invite you to come back to it later, and we're going to talk about the many different ways. And if you have any questions, just type it in the comment area as I go on. Okay. So the first way to use herbs with your kids is with teas. So this is chamomile tea. I buy it from Mountain Rose Herbs. I know people are there's a lot of fear around herbs because they are so powerful, and you don't want, of course, you don't want to cause any harm to your children. But something as simple as chamomile, you can make a cup of tea. It can help with colic. It can help with constipation. It can help with anxiety. When they're sick, it can help put them to bed so that they sleep and their fever is reduced. So it's very amazing the benefits that herbal medicine can have with just, say, 1 cup of tea. So something to think about with teas and kids is you would put the tea in here, cover it with hot water, and then make sure you cover the top so that the essential oils don't escape. And about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you would strain it out. And I just made a cup of tea. This is a little messy right now, but you would strain it out, right? That's way too much tea, by the way. Strain it out. And then for children, you could put a little bit in their bottle. You can put a little bit in their sippy cup. If they're under 1 year of age, you don't want to put honey in there. You can put a little bit of apple juice to sweeten it. And then if they're over a year, you can add a little bit of honey and start cutting out the apple juice. So remember, sugar affects the immune system. It dampens it. So as much as you can, you don't want too much sugar. Okay, let me know if there's any questions on teas. We touched on this the other day. My go-to teas are lemon balm, chamomile. My daughter likes peppermint at age 4 and 5. She liked it. Then there's other herbs like fennel that would aid with digestion for in colicky babies as well. Okay, so if there's any questions, Misty, let me know. The second way I use herbs is with a tincture. I didn't bring a tincture over here. So what is a tincture? A tincture is when, say they take chamomile, right? And they cover it in vodka, or you can do this, right? I would get a little bit more information before you did this, but cover it in vodka and let it sit for 6 weeks. And then you strain out that material, out the vodka really, and that's called a tincture. Now there's glycerin tinctures or alcoholic tinctures. If your children are young, it's usually, we feel safer with the glycerin tinctures. They can have the alcoholic tinctures. Again, look at the dilution charts. But Herb Farm is a great company that has a lot of glycerin tinctures and also has the dosing for your child for the ages. So that's really nice. So how would you use a tincture? You would put well, for children, you could put the tincture in their cup, but to make sure that they don't leave the cup hanging around the house, make sure you give them a straw and just have them suck it up so that they get the medicine right away. You could also use a syringe or a little mini cup so that you syringe the medicine and then just put it right in their mouth. Glycerin is better for the tongue, so if you're doing that directly in their mouth, use the glycerin because it's much sweeter and children enjoy it more. Okay, so you have teas and tinctures. Again, Herb Farm's a great company that has the blended tinctures, and tinctures are what I have used for medicine for the past 11 years for myself and 6 years for my children. That's how we reduce antibiotic use and NSAIDs, which are known to affect your gut health, which is known to be causing food sensitivities. So this is why it's so important that we look at what we're giving our children, because it's affecting their gut health. And I'm sure you've seen that in, if not your own child, but people in the community, right? So tinctures are amazing. Pills and capsules I don't tend to use with children. It's another way you can use herbs. This I just started using with my son because he's presenting with allergy-like and asthma-like qualities. So stinging nettles can reduce, freeze-dried stinging nettles can reduce allergies, seasonal allergies, asthma attacks. So it's something that I just started using with him, and he's age 6. Prior to this, we have used slippery elm lozenges, or when my daughter had a urinary tract infection, I would open up the capsule and then, you know, mix it in water and have them drink that. So I don't tend to use capsules with children, but there are some times that it does come handy, especially as they get older. Certainly not when they're babies. Okay, salves are, have you heard of salves, Misty? Do you use them? So you can easily make this on your own. This is a plantain salve, and salves can be used for everything. So on dry skin, dry lips, cuts, dry bums, from head to toe, you can use salves almost anywhere. And all it is you would put the herbs in olive oil for about 6 weeks. This is an external application. And then once you have an herbal oil, you could certainly use the herbal oil, but it's very greasy, right? And it would get on your clothes and your bedding. So we take the herbal oil and add beeswax and maybe some essential oils, and then you have a salve. The main reason I love this salve is I will add, someone was using eucalyptus oil last week. I will add a drop of eucalyptus oil to the salve and apply it to my son's chest when he has a cough. There may be softer, gentler essential oils, but I do use eucalyptus, just 1 drop per tablespoon of the salve. So that's one way I use the salve. Also, just for anything dry, cuts and scrapes and things like that. Okay, so arnica gel is very popular in my household. As you can see, it's kind of squished up. Arnica gel is a way to use homeopathy. We'll get into that in a little bit, but use this for any muscle pain or bruising. It will take down the swelling. So it's a homeopathic remedy. Lavender essential oil, or just essential oil. This is from Mountain Rose Herbs. Again, keep in mind that it takes a truckload to make just 1 bottle of this, right? So they're very, very strong essential oils. I would only use 1 drop per tablespoon of oil or so, or salve, and you know, always dilute with children. Some practitioners don't suggest using essential oils with children under 3 months. And then internally, I would be very careful and work with a professional with that, because they are so strong. Herbs and tinctures, teas and tinctures work just as fun. I just bought this yesterday. It's a elderberry calendula cough and cold elixir from Weathertop Farm. So there's more ways to use herbs. There's so many different ways. One way is called a decoction. So when you have roots like, what does she have? Elderberry here would be the root, or ginger. You bring the herbs to a boil on the stove, turn it down, and wait until it reduces to half, right? So that's called a decoction. When you have roots or berries, you're trying to make this thick syrup. So once you have that syrup, then you add honey to it. Say if you have a cup of the decoction, you would add a half a cup of honey, and then putting those together, that is a syrup. So in this blend, she did calendula and elderberry for cough and cold, and she wrote right on it, it has raw honey in it. That's a nice way to give kids cough medicine that is not a suppressant. It helps as an expectorant, and it's safe as long as they're over a year for this cough medicine. So an alternative to Zarbees would be making a cough medicine. You can certainly make one yourself, or you can purchase one. So there's so many ways, right? There's a few other ways I want to talk about, but just to summarize, there's teas, tinctures, salves, decoctions, syrup, essential oils. A poultice is when, for example, once you identify the plantain leaf, you teach children to chew it in their mouth when they're older, chew it in their mouth and put it on a bug bite, a bee sting, anything that itches, poison ivy, and it draws out and it reduces the itchiness. So we call it like a herbal Band-Aid. You'll see it noted as. So that's a poultice. And then in a bath, right? In a bath, you can add essential oils, but remember that they're very strong. So then you would put a drop of this in milk, mix it up, and then add the milk to the bath. Make sure it's not hot and that it's well blended, and then the baby goes in the bath, okay? So that's one way to use herbs with a bath. The second way is to make a cup of strong tea, and this really strong medicinal tea, add that to the bathtub, make sure it's not burning, and then the child goes in, okay? So any questions, let me know. Those are the different ways. So Misty, are you using herbs right now with your kids? Teas, tinctures, essential oils? Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so who's using homeopathy? What is homeopathy, right? So there are these little white pills, and this is a company, Boron. Is this Boron? Yes. So B-O-I-R-O-N, right? So they're inside here, there's these little white pills. So these little white tablets. So homeopathic medicine is when they make a tincture first. We talked about how they make a tincture. They make a tincture first, and then they take 1 drop of the tincture per 100 parts of water. They, I don't have the right jar. They shake or succuss it 100 times. And then they take 1 drop of that per 100 drops of water. And again, they shake and succuss it. So that is how you create homeopathic medicine. It comes from a tincture and then gets diluted into really essence of water. And then this water essence gets poured over sugar tablets, and that is homeopathic medicine. So you can see how safe it is. It's completely diluted. It works on our water essence, our water imprint in the body is one way that they think it works, or our electromagnetic, energy. So it's really unknown in how it works, but when you choose the right remedy, it can work wonders. So let's talk about how you choose the right remedy just a little bit. So you'll see in the store that, especially for children, these blended homeopathic remedies. And there was a mom that was using a cough remedy, I forget what company, it may have been Boron, a cough remedy. So it had about 5 to 10 different remedies in that cough medicine. Now, the reason it may not work is that ideally you're choosing 1 remedy per the child. So you're just looking for 1 remedy. For example, this is calibicromicum, calibic. This is good for pain in the sinuses, sinus infection. The person's really, for women, really bitchy. Maybe your child, you could say that too. So you're looking at their qualities or their symptoms, and that's how you're diagnosing. Otherwise, you may be wasting money on homeopathic medicine, on homeopathic remedies. How to give it to children: you would take, once you find the right remedy, take the drop, If they're infants, you could crush it between a spoon and then feed it to them, or you could put it in their bottle and feed it to them. As they get older, they can just tip it. You don't want to touch your mouth. You would just tip it into your mouth, because if you touch your mouth to it, then you're ruining the medicine, really. And then you wait. That's the hardest part of homeopathic medicine, is you're watching and waiting. You wait about 20 minutes or so, and what may happen is the symptoms increase if it's the right remedy. So pay attention. If it's the right remedy, the symptoms increase. That means the fever may spike, they may vomit, they may diarrhea, they may, something shifts in the body and it goes from in to without. So fever, up would be vomiting, down would be diarrhea. So the energy goes out, the vital force they call it. So it's a good thing if they get sick, if their symptoms spike and then they resolve. If the symptoms do not resolve, meaning they just keep getting worse and worse and worse, then it's the wrong remedy and you stop homeopathic medicine. So we should do a whole nother video on just homeopathy, because it is very, very challenging to get it right. You want the right remedy, and you want to really pay attention to your child. So the easiest advice right now is to, when your child is sick, start writing down what is different about them. They're cranky, one cheek is red, they're pulling on their ear, they woke up at 2 a.m., they woke up at 4 a.m., their feet are really hot. So all of these symptoms matter when it comes to finding the right remedy for homeopathy. Otherwise, personally, I wouldn't purchase the homeopathic products, because you're just wasting money. If you find they work for you, let us know. I would love to know when you got it correct, when you got it right. It is possible that it does work, but for the cough medicine, it really is hard, because usually the coughs, those ongoing coughs, which we talked about before, is from an allergy or food sensitivities. So it's something deeper. Usually homeopathy is hard to get the right remedy for that. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. What we covered today is how to use herbs in homeopathy with your children. At the end of the week, you're going to have an opportunity to join my Home Remedies for Children course, and we'll talk about that more as time goes on. In the meantime, just let me know what is working for you. Let the group know what is working for you, what you currently are using with your children, and then provide feedback to other moms that are asking. So when your child is sick, don't be afraid to say, what do you guys think about this? First and foremost, always go to the doctor, but if you want to get a little feedback, ask in the group and let us know. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.